Hello, fellow players of Hero Wars. I'm Jay. Welcome to Jay vs. Hero Wars. Today, I will be talking about promotion and demotion battles, basically guild wars that take place on Saturday. Just because I've been getting a lot of questions about how they work. You know, if you're the Gold League team that's facing the new Silver League team, because they're going to be using a Silver League map, how does that work? As well as just some of the basic. How do I know who I'm going to face if I'm X rank in X league? So without further ado, let's take a look. All right, guys. So today we will be talking about battles in Guild Wars that take place on Saturdays. We are looking at promotion and demotion battles. So first, what you need to do to get there is we're going to click on Guild, Guild War. Then we're going to look at leagues, and we're going to start with qualifying league. So the way that these matchups work out is usually the bottom teams fight from the higher tier, fight the top teams in the lower tier just to fight for those spots. So I'm going to explain it a little bit more in depth here. So for instance, you have these arrows on the left, which indicate these are the top teams that are fighting on Saturday. So we have, for instance, here, the number 1 through 6 guilds are going to be battling the bottom 6 guilds in Bronze League. The way the matchups work out is pretty straightforward, actually. So 1 will face number 30, 2 will face number 29, 3 will face 28, 4 will face 27, so on and so forth. I'll put up a quick little blip for you guys so you can look at that. So here we have a quick little qualifying v bronze rank matchup sheet, and feel free to screenshot it or feel free to pause the video. I will be trying to go quickly through cheat sheets, as I call them, just so you guys can take a look at the information at your own pace. But essentially, that's how it works out. So it's just it's a straight up qualifying league versus bronze league battle. If, let's say, For All defeats Hamza Sari here, then they will take this 30th slot, and essentially Hamza Sari will fall into the number 1 slot in the qualifying league. So that's how that works for qualifying in Bronze League. For Bronze League to Silver, the top 4 teams here, as you see 4 arrows, will be battling the bottom 4 teams in Silver. So same rules, same stuff there. Not a huge difference. Here we just have a quick Bronze v Silver matchup sheet for those Saturday wars. Feel free to do what you like here, whether it is screenshot or pausing the video. Then you got Silver League versus Gold League. Here the top 3 Silver teams battle the bottom 3 Gold League teams. Here we just got another quick Silver versus Gold matchup sheet. So again, same thing. Do what you will. And what is different about the Gold League and Silver League transition battle? Quite a bit, actually. So one thing you'll know, or should know, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at a Gold League map. So we're going to look at a Gold League Guild War map. Here you already notice that it looks quite different from your standard qualifying bronze and silver map. There's more spots for champions. Quite frankly, each building has 1 more player. So the Gold League guild is always going to have an advantage. And I'm going to explain why that is. So to start, when the Gold League team has their setup, they see all these spots. So essentially what they can do is they can stack the deck against the Silver League team by putting all their high power high level players in and essentially still attack with other players even if they're not active. To further go into that, let's take a look at the bridge here. So one of these spots gets dropped every single time you fight an opponent in Silver League because they play with a Silver League map, but the Gold League still has some advantages. So what happens is if you look at the bridge here, the fourth slot, so this would be my account here, always gets taken off in the Guild War. So essentially what you would see is you'd see these three teams on the bridge, but my fourth team would be cut out in terms of a battle against a Silver League team. Likewise, if we look at the Foundry here, the last team here would be cut out. So that basically gives this Gold League team an advantage because if they know that every last slot in each building gets, not counted for in the Guild War, they can essentially put their weakest players in those last slots and essentially, really have the Silver League team earn their way into the Gold League. Another tricky part, though, so this is both a pro and a con for the Gold League team, is they have 15 champions, right? Where as opposed to the Silver League team has much fewer. So what does that mean? There's 30 potential attacks for, versus much less for the Silver team. And why are there 30? Well, for Champions of the Guild, there are 15. So that means there's more players and each player gets 2 attacks. But there's a limit to how many they can use. So it's a fair fight in terms of they don't have extra attacks that outshine the Silver League attacks. Like you want to have a fair number of attacks. So it's 20 attacks versus 20 attacks. It's just that the Gold League team has more players to pool from. So essentially, the Gold League team has an advantage in that they can use their strongest hero teams versus, the Silver League team has to use a player that uses both their hero team and their Titan team, where the Gold League team can kind of pick and choose. Here's basically a summary of everything that I just kind of went over. You can feel free to screenshot it and or pause the video, but essentially we're looking at exactly what we just talked about. Now, the picking and choosing for the Gold League team, is that unfair? Well, it can be an advantage for sure. The reason it could be a disadvantage, though, is if someone's not paying attention on the Gold League team to make sure that only the top players are attacking, you could end up using all your weakest attacks and not being able to use your strongest attacks. The bottom line for these Guild War fights, though, promotions and demotions, is that it's just a win. You just have to win. It doesn't matter by how much. The bottom line is if you win by 1 point, you win. So if you're the team that's fighting to stay in your place, obviously if you win, you get to stay in whatever league you are in. If you were in the lower league and you were one of those teams that had the arrow and you win your match, that means you'll be in the higher league the following week. So hopefully that helps give you guys a little bit more of a sense in terms of what you're looking at when you're looking at wars for Saturdays. And I know there's always a lot of confusion. Again, just to be clear, when you're looking at these, setups for the Gold League teams, the last spot is always dropped. So you want to have your weakest players in those slots. Is it tougher for Silver, League teams to essentially get into Gold League as a result? Yes, absolutely. But that is part of the fun and challenge. And I hope you guys, maybe picked up 1 or 2 things here. Hopefully it helped you guys out. Please consider subscribing. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon in Dominion.